when you spend the entire summer of 2020 legitimizing criminal behavior, when you call rioters and looters who attacked police officers, who destroyed businesses, who destroyed property, when you call them peaceful protesters, it's kind of tough then to do what you know you should have done, which is have the Capitol secure and take the offer from the White House, which was to have National Guard troops there. But she didn't do that. And Benny Thompson, the chairman of this political committee, has said that she's off limits. They're not going to talk to the Speaker of the House about the security posture that day, because, as you rightly point out, this is all about getting President Trump. This is all about making it so, trying to make it so he can't run, because they know he's going to run. I want him to run. I think you want him to run. I know the American people do. And if he runs, I think he's going to win, because that not one good thing has happened in the Biden administration in the first year. So that's what this is about. It's political. The American people see it for what it is. And I think the truth is going to win out in the end.
So what you're telling us is, as far as we can tell, Nancy Pelosi's texts, her emails, her documents will never be uncovered as long as the Democrats control the House. She'll never be compelled to testify under oath under penalty of perjury about what she knew and when she do it. It's her responsibility to protect the House of Representatives. You guys and gals can't go in there now without going through metal detectors. You all have to wear a mask. So she is very involved when it comes to those kinds of details. And yet when it comes to were you all ready? The FBI knew people were coming. The Norfolk office knew. The NYPD knew. They all gave the information to FBI Director Wray, who seems to be sleeping through his job, quite frankly. The memo apparently was on his desk for 4 days. He never got around to it. It seems like a lot of people screwed up here. But the President of the United States, it's my understanding of different testimony, Donald Trump offered the National Guard. Now, if you're going to offer the National Guard to protect the Capitol building, then how can you be responsible for a quote-unquote insurrection?
Right. No, I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. But of course, nothing the Democrats say makes much sense. I mean, think about it. The Democrats have closed the Capitol, allowed proxy voting, kicked Republicans off committee, won't let Republicans serve on committee, are trying to end the filibuster, trying to end the Electoral College, trying to pack the court. And yet they say Donald Trump and Republicans are trying to undermine democracy. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So, yeah, and directly to the question, we have conflicting testimony. We have the head of the Capitol Hill Police who said he talked to the Sergeant at Arms about having the National Guard there. The Capitol Police Chief says the head of the Sergeant at Arms said that, oh, no, that the Pelosi's office, the Speaker's office, didn't like the optics of having National Guard here. So they have conflicting testimony. Guess which one has been willing to come testify? Guess which one has been willing to turn over the documents? The one who said he asked for the National Guard. The other one, because the Speaker's office won't let him, has not turned over the documents that have been requested by Republicans. So I think that is a clear indication of what really happened that day, directly to the question of the security posture and position on January 6th.
Now, let me ask you this, because we have a weird way of grouping people together. Our justice system's supposed to be based on the acts or lack thereof of an individual. When you're charged as an individual. Maybe you're participating in group activity, but they want to know what you did. So when people say the people on January 6th who stormed the Capitol building XYZ, isn't there a difference between somebody who storms the Capitol building and attacks a cop, somebody who breaks a window in the Capitol, somebody who's waved into the Capitol by a police officer, somebody who's standing on the Capitol steps, somebody who, quote unquote, is parading on the grass of the Capitol, somebody who is trespassing in the parking lot of the Capitol? All these are different issues with different human beings. We have 700 or so people who have been charged with God knows what, trespass and parading on property without a license and so forth. Everybody's thrown together as if they were all beating up the police. So we can remember this as January 6th and never, ever forget it. Isn't this exactly the sort of thing the framers of the Constitution were very concerned about? General warrants and accusations against groups. They have due process, equal protection. Individuals are supposed to be treated as individuals for purposes of any criminal charges and so forth. And yet everybody's lumped together as Trump supporters and everybody's guilty.
Yeah. Well, great point, Mark. But remember, this is the left today that controls the Democrat Party. This is how they view things. Just go back 3 weeks ago when Joe Biden gave a speech in Georgia. In his speech, he said that half the country was terrible and racist. That same day, That very day, we learned that the Justice Department had set up a domestic terrorism unit. And also on that same day, all these three things happened that same day. That same day, we learned the Department of Education actually went first, like we always suspected, went first to the School Board Association, asking them to write the letter about parents so they would have the pretext to do what the Biden administration wanted to do, namely go after moms and dads who are speaking out at school board meetings against critical race theory. So those three things happen on one day. That is today's left, how they want to use the power of government against their political opponents. We are seeing that across the board. Attacks on our First Amendment, attacks on our Second Amendment, attacks on moms and dads, you name it. That's how they empower government to go after their political opponents. And as you rightly point out, it is wrong. It's as wrong could be, and against our Constitution and against how our government is supposed to work in these United States.
During the Kavanaugh hearings, the Capitol building was breached by individuals who went into the Senate Judiciary Committee hearings on multiple occasions and disrupt the confirmation hearings. And they seem to have a lot of support by the Democrats. They would also go into the elevators to challenge senators and intimidate senators and so forth. Do you remember them being rounded up as a group and being arrested and sent to the D.C. jail system where they sat day after day before they could actually have a trial? Because I don't remember that.
I don't remember it either. I don't remember when the Wisconsin State House was taken over by left-wing folks day after day in Wisconsin. I don't remember the Democrats and the left using the same language when for like 100 days straight there was a siege on the federal court building in Portland, Oregon. So there's always a double standard. There's always a double standard with these folks. The American people, though, see it for what it is, and that's why I really do believe. Now, look, I'm not overconfident. You never want to be overconfident, but I really do think that we're going to take back the House this November, because I think the American people have just had it with everything about the Biden administration. Everything they have touched has been wrong. Everything they have done has been wrong. Every policy they've done has been wrong. Not to mention all the strange things we're seeing happen when they attack our liberties.
Which I want to get to in the next segment. But in 1954, there were 4 Puerto Rican separatists who sat up in the House gallery and shot 5 members of Congress. 1 was very badly wounded. 4 others were hit. All of them were pardoned by Jimmy Carter. In 1971, the Weather Underground blew up a room in the Capitol building. They went back just for good measure in 1983. But also the next year, they blew up a place at the Pentagon, and they also hit the State Department. I don't remember any commissions. Maybe there should have been. And they were all eventually either pardoned or something else happened to them over time. Some went to jail, but then again were pardoned. The Democrats and Joe Biden have said that January 6th is the greatest attack on our democracy in American history since the Civil War. Seems to me those were pretty bad. When the Marxist left attacks our buildings, riots, burns down our streets, brutalizes other people, and are proud of what they're doing and announce what they're doing, how come that's never a threat to our democracy? Have you noticed that? People are President Trump talked about pardoning all these people should he become president of the United States. And I heard Lindsey Graham, and I heard Susan Collins, and I heard the Democrats, and I thought, where the hell were you people when these other people were pardoned? And I was talking about it, not 1954 per se, but I was talking about it in the course of my career, and I'm also on radio.
Well, Mark, it's even worse. Remember, in the summer of 2020, the Democrat Party said that rioters and looters were peaceful protesters. And in fact, they helped raise money to bail out those guys, those individuals who were attacking our law enforcement. They helped raise money to bail them out of jail, including the sitting vice president of the United States. So, yeah, again, the American people are so fed up with the double standard, so fed up with, certain rules for the left and the elite, and the rest of us regular people, we have to follow a different set. They are so sick of that. I think it's going to manifest itself in a huge wave in November, and hopefully we're going to take back the House and the Senate come November's midterm election.